Mike's on. Hey guys, and welcome to another Phee Sportsball with Sir Isaac, the Guru, right here on the Phee Smee Network. Sir Isaac, what's going on today, Big Money?
Working hard, learning how to do recording
Boy, I
software.
tell you what, he knows what he's doing when it comes to recording software, just like he knows what he's doing when it comes to Wild Card Weekend. Right there, baby. 646. I believe that's 100%. That's perfection. That's
you
what
know,
we strive
you know what
for.
that means? Since the playoffs of 2026, I have never lost in the NFL.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying for now. I'll just never bet again, and I'll say that I never
He
lost.
never lost in 2026 in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. So happy to have that kind of week. Boy, I tell you what, they come far and few between.
Yeah,
But when you go 100%, whether it's 3 for 3 or 10 for 10, or in this case 6 for 6, it's worth celebrating.
it was fun.
He then he went 1-1 when it came to the college football playoffs. He decided he'd skip a couple of games. He got real close on Ole Miss. That's called a bad beat, isn't it?
Yeah,
And now he's complaining he'd much rather see Indiana play Ole Miss than Indiana play Miami on Monday, January the 19th.
absolutely. I definitely would. I feel like just for the fun of the brands, it's like you not that Miami's been in there, recently, but like why I would much rather just the fact that Ole Miss and Indiana are notoriously bad football teams. It's like that would just be fun to me to watch those two teams play. But Miami was close, or Ole Miss was close. They just couldn't get it done at the end. I was pulling hard for them, just emotionally and financially, mainly because we talked about last week, Lane Kiffin's not there. So, but couldn't get it done. Old Carson Beck just had to make his way to the championship, which is tragic to watch. But
What
hey,
did I
more
tell you the
power
first
to
week of the year?
don't even
Carson Beck.
don't
Carson Beck had two terrible games, interceptions and 3 interceptions this year. I still don't understand it. Before then, I thought he was a quality quarterback, and I told you last week I thought before the Ole Miss game I would take him before those other players. But Indiana's got the best football team, the better defense. I don't know, but Carson Beck, he's been there before. He's won it before. He's had some reps.
I think based on if we're going off of everything that we've been able to watch as fans, whether you know a lot about football or not, there is no reason to think that Indiana's not going to get it done. I know that's happened before. I mean, look at Ohio State in the regular season, kind of same thing where they look, not
Dominant.
human. They're killing everybody. But I feel like Indiana did that in the regular season. Then they've continued to do it in the playoffs. You can throw a couple stones at Oregon, saying that they looked sketchy a couple times in the regular season. Maybe they just had a bad game. It wasn't the first time they had a bad game, but Indiana has just steamrolled everybody. Their defense looks amazing. Their offense looks amazing. I think they've got the best quarterback in this matchup. I think they've got more NFL players on both ends of the field, which is crazy to say comparing Miami and
Absolutely.
Indiana. Um,
It's like saying Vanderbilt's a favorite at LSU.
yeah, but they've just looked dominant. It almost is alarming to me if you're the type of person who wants to get into like Vegas lines and everything. The fact that it's still only 8.5 is almost kind of scary to me because I would think when it came out, I think it either opened at 7 or 7.5, I think, and it instantly went up to 8.5. And I'm shocked it has not continued to go up. I figured by the end of the deal it'd be 10.5 or something like that. But
It would be if they continued to bet on Indiana,
yeah,
but Miami is a brand name,
yeah,
and the Sharks are just, you don't bet against streaks.
mm-hmm,
And Indiana's what, how 14-0? They
yeah,
got
they haven't
one
lost.
to play.
Yeah,
Okay, and they've covered both times in their playoff.
effortlessly.
Okay, effortlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so There's where their money is. There's why it went from 7.5 to 8.5. They would move it all the way to 9.5, 10.5, if they need to, and probably will before uh, the 19th.
Yeah,
But the public will be on Miami because there's your brand name.
man. I feel like do you
Great
think
bet for Indiana. Great bet.
I think so too. I have no like I said, it if I lose, it's not. It's just going to be a tip your cap and say, "Hey, congrats, Miami," because it's one of those. I don't really know how to explain it, but I can't. I would feel dumb if I didn't bet Indiana. So if I bet Indiana and lose, then it's like that.
That's why they don't feel
Everything I
dumb.
saw would point. I would make the same decision 10 out of 10 times. So I'm gonna bet it, and I'm not gonna worry about it. And I think Indiana's gonna get it done. I think it's gonna be an incredible story. Kurt Cignetti's gonna be getting called by the Steelers. I didn't know this. Apparently, I guess I didn't know he was a Pittsburgh guy. I heard someone talking about today. Obviously, he wouldn't take the job, I don't think. But people were talking about today that the Steelers are going to be calling him and blah blah
Interesting.
blah. But then I was just like, Indiana, would it
I didn't
be
know.
heartbreaking, or do you think there'd be some like joy in the fact that, hey, we got a couple good years finally, and now he moved on, or would it be like,
No, they would be very unhappy, especially after giving him that contract.
it won't happen? It
Okay,
won't
no, it
happen.
will not
It's more
happen.
just like joking around,
That's
but
that's more distractions and outside noise.
oh yeah, it's
But
just jokes.
Indiana minus the 8.5 and over the 47.5, it would be my play.
I I'd probably do that too. Although I every game or the last two games were both over.
Indiana scored 55. They had 33 at half against Oregon.
The only and I was wrong last week. So before I say this, don't know what I'm talking about clearly. But if I'm looking at the game, I kind of thought this was going to be the case with Oregon. It looked like it was going to stay the case. Then Oregon kind of scored, late. But Indiana's defense is really good, and Miami's offense has looked at times like they don't put up a ton of points. Their defense is really good. So to me, it almost feels like Indiana could win, 28-10 or something like that. But
Boy,
I was so wrong last week.
yeah.
So take that
When you
for
say 28-21, Indiana, Miami, 28-24, Miami, Indiana, those are both overs. I can't see that game going to where Miami scores 10 points unless Carson Beck throws 4 interceptions, which in that case, Indiana's going to score 55 by themselves.
yeah. I mean,
It's an over game to
it
me, and
should
it's easy.
it should be.
But I like the different opinions because to me that's the old no brainer right there. But that's why they call it gambling.
Not winning. Yeah.
Well, you went 6 for 6, Guru. The national championship game kind of takes a back seat to a 6 for 6 wild card weekend with the NFL. I will tell you this: Indiana's got quality football players on both sides of the ball. You've got a Carson Beck's got a quarterback that's been there before, had some reps. You think the Indiana quarterback is better? In the end, I think Indiana gets it done by at least 2 touchdowns. And so I will take Indiana 48, Miami 34.
You think they score 34?
34.
I'm gonna go Indiana 35, Miami 10.
That's an under. Right there,
35
ladies and
10.
gentlemen. You saw it, heard it right here on Phee Sportsball with Sir Isaac, the guru. He's the superstar that went 6 for 6 last week. Phee doesn't even play anymore. So I would listen to him if you'd like to. But then again, it is called Phee Sportsball for a reason.
I think, first of all, last thing, I think if Ole Miss's running back didn't get hurt and their kicker, who has been nails all season and all playoffs, I mean, the kid is kicking like 48 yarders and they're landing at the top of the All-State good hands. I mean, he's got an absolute rocket for a leg, and he has not missed. He banged one off the upright. He actually banged two off the uprights. One just happened to go in. But if he missed a kick and their running back busted out for that 70-yard touchdown run,
Mhm.
and then pulled his or stretched his hamstring, strained it on that run. Took him the rest of the first half. He didn't play, and then he tried to come back in the second half, but it was almost like it was like strictly decoy role. If he didn't get hurt, I feel like that changes the game a lot because they had an explosive run play, which would, in your brain, if you're a play caller, you start talking about you're opening up your playbook because now they're scared of the run, or they got to respect it a little more, even though they've been stuffing it to that point. But then that guy doesn't come back in the game, and their backup looked just, not great. So I wish we could have seen it with that key one Lacey not getting hurt, but it is what it is. It's
Well, my
football.
alma
Injuries
mater, I
happen.
have to tell you, they did a great job. They
They did.
rallied around that coach. They rallied around each other. They had every opportunity to win. It kind of felt like, whoever had the ball last was going to get it done.
Yeah.
That's what happened, and it just didn't turn out. And bottom line is, it works sometimes, it doesn't others.
Yep.
And Ole Miss went home, but I think they got a lot to be proud of as far as quality kids in a tough situation,
Mm-hmm.
and they kept on fighting, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. It was fun, and I'm glad they had a good year. I hope they never have a good year again. But it was fun this year when Arkansas was irrelevant. I could adopt them once they fired the most annoying coach in football.
Did they fire him?
No,
Okay.
but he's not there anymore,
Okay.
which is all I need.
All right.
So
Phenomenal coach at LSU and already having problems. He's so polarizing. So that's going to continue. It will always continue when it comes to Lane Kiffin. No matter what he does, he tends to cause some people some problems.
yeah, it is.
Now let's swap to the dadgum NFL, which you went 6-0 last weekend. They're coming through this week. Go ahead and give your first game of the week as it gets down to the final eight.
We'll start with the Saturday games. And I think last week we went in chronological order, so we'll just continue that trend. First game of the weekend is Bills going to Denver, as 1.5 point underdogs.
Woo!
And
They just playing Allen.
yeah,
They're just playing Allen.
and I'm gonna. That's all they need.
Yeah.
He proved it last week. He's got like 4 injuries, I think, and he just is one of those people who apparently has the willpower to just in his brain decide that he's not hurt and just play through stuff. But they got it done against Jacksonville.
Barely.
Barely, but they did. And I think that the Broncos, their defense is great, and they've all year long they've kind of played down to competition, played really good in big games. But I think Bo Nix finally shows his true colors in this game, which his
Wow.
true colors is not a.
Orange and blue.
It's yeah. It's about how he looked in orange and blue, and it's that he doesn't win relevant games. He's a really good regular season quarterback, really good stat getter, and then ask me how many times you heard of Bo Nix when it came to relevant college football games. Zero. I'll help you with that.
Wow.
And
Well,
that's because when it came down to it, they could never get the job done. And I think, even though I do respect them, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on the Broncos. It's been fun having them be good.
what a turnaround! 2 year turnaround right there,
It
and
is.
Bo Nix has been a key a role in that as Coach Shanahan has,
Yeah,
or
uh,
whatever.
the Saints coach that
Yeah,
now you messed me up.
I
Now
know. Well, that was bad. I thought I
uh,
went all the way back to Denver's
yeah.
1980s, didn't I? So
But yeah, great coaching, good defense, fun team. But I think that I'm choosing to believe that Josh Allen's going to get a Super Bowl this year. I don't think the AFC has a team that is as good as the NFC's best teams this year, which has been different than the last however many years, with the Chiefs and the Bills. I feel like too, but and the Ravens. But I think this is the year I'm just choosing to root for them. I think they can get it done this year. I think they go in and beat Denver, and in most people's minds, it'll be shock the world, but I don't think it's really going to be shocking. I think Josh Allen's just a dude, and he's a tough dude. They got probably the best running back in football right now on their team, who didn't even have a great game last weekend. They still got the job done, so I think they go in, beat Denver, cover the 1.5. Obviously, I'm going to take a money line.
That would be
And
plus 130,
yeah,
140.
and then I think I'm going to go under in that game as well, which that's 45.5. So I think Buffalo and under 45.5.
Buffalo and under the 45.5 right here on Phee Sportsball with Sir Isaac the Guru. I would just keep playing that streak, keep playing that momentum right there, folks. As uh, Denver at home in Mile High is very difficult, and I think if you check their playoff record in Mile High, it will be phenomenal. Also, you do know that Buffalo is 0 for 4 in Super Bowls and hadn't been able to get back. So I am a big Josh Allen fan. I think he's carrying that defense. I think he's got a great running back. He's phenomenal. I just don't think he gets it done before it's over. I do think he beats Denver
Mm-hmm.
because, and I was wrong on Denver. Bo Nix, I was not high on him when he came out, but he has proven to be a quality NFL starter, and that's definitely been a turnaround when it comes in the NFL that I wasn't seeing because I hadn't paid as much attention since 2023. But
Mm-hmm.
when I look at all those names that are in the playoffs and who they're listing as the Super Bowl champs, the Seattle, Seahawks at plus 270, and then the Rams. Those two teams right there wouldn't have been in my top five
Mm-mm.
before the Super Bowl odds were. So that tells you that I'm more disconnected and detached from it. But you're right in there, and you know exactly what's going on. You like Buffalo coming into Mile High minus 1.5.
I do. I think on paper the Broncos have a better football team. I think they're more well rounded. I just think that there's a couple key pieces on each end. One is Bo Nix. I'm not trying to sound like a hater. I've given him a hard time for a while, but I just think they just haven't looked dominant this year. They've won, and some could say that's just as impressive, but they remind me of the Vikings last year. Was it last year that the Vikings were like had like 14 wins and there was a bunch of one score
Oh,
games and
yeah.
everyone
That's
kept saying,
exactly what they're going to say about Sam Darnold if he loses again to the 49ers this
yeah.
week.
But it was just like it felt like in those games everything kept going the Vikings way and it felt like they were a dominant team because you kept seeing them win, 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 win. But at the end of the day, they weren't dominating teams. They weren't head above heels better. They just kept sometimes the ball bounces your way, and it feels like Denver's had a lot of those bounces this year. Good team, but I just think that they're gonna. I think they're gonna lose, and I'm a Josh Allen believer. So he steps up in the playoffs. That man's playoff stats are insane. I mean, efficiency, touchdowns to interceptions, rushing yards. I mean, they're crazy. Even against Patrick Mahomes in
How many
those
times have
games,
they been leading with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter?
and the only reason they have lost is a guy that sounds like Kermit the Frog, who,
You know, when he came out of Texas Tech, and of course I took my kids up there to Arkansas to watch him. And after the game was over with, I said, "What did you guys learn?" And they said, "Oh, well, we got beat." Texas Tech never punted in that whole game. From the start of the game to the end of the game, they never punted. They scored on every possession. Okay, so Patrick Mahomes is special, and when he was being evaluated before the draft, of course, uh, one of the general managers said, "I have interviewed him. He was class all the way. I just don't think, from a leadership standpoint, his voice matches."
yeah,
And now look what's happened. That's how they criticize and stuff, and looks what's happened since. I mean, he wasn't number 1 or 2 in the draft,
no,
and now look at him. So sometimes those things you play them off a little too much. But
yeah,
as far as let me tell you something. Your Allen boy in the playoffs has done his part over
Beyond.
and over and over.
Yes. Yes, he
So what
has.
you're asking again for, I know he's going to do his part,
Hmm.
but you're asking him as a favorite going into Mile High in the playoffs. You're just saying the quarterback position is so important to winning and losing. I like the quarterback of Buffalo better.
I do too. Also, this is kind of joking, kind of not. It may make me sound stupid, but the Broncos' best feature of their defense, well, they have a great pass rush, but Patrick Surtain can take away any team's number one receiver. It's every single game they play, whoever's the receiver they're scared of, they put Pat Surtain on him and he takes him away. However, Buffalo has been crying all season and really for the past couple seasons about how they don't have a number one receiver. Sneaky spin zone for Buffalo fans in this game. The fact that you don't have a number one receiver and Josh Allen is used to throwing to seven receivers who none of us have heard their name might actually
Have something to do.
benefit you because they can put Pastor Tan on one guy, sure, but there's not a guy he can't take away one guy that's a big, piece of their
They're
yardage.
trying to. He's trying to take away a half the field.
Yes, and he'll take away whoever he's guarding, but
So, but
Josh Allen's been throwing it to guys who I don't even know were in the NFL. Um,
third string tight ends. Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
And I expect a better game from Cook. And I wonder
Yeah,
what the weather will be when it
haven't
comes to
looked.
this, because the weather will always be in play when it comes to Mile High, whether it's snow, sleet, rain, or wind. Uh,
But do you think that if they get some nasty snow and wind, is that almost? I feel like that almost is Buffalo weather.
it is Buffalo
I was
weather.
gonna say because they might roll into that
It's
being
just
like,
not Buffalo altitude.
yeah, yeah. But the snow and the cold and the wind,
You ain't got their hands not getting cold
no,
in
no.
Buffalo. It gets just cold in Buffalo up there by those Niagara Falls and that Canadian border. So
Yep.
there's no problem with that. All right. Well, your second game Saturday is, we agree for some reason, I don't understand why, that Buffalo's going to go into Mile High, beat Denver as favorites. I'm going to agree with Guru because Guru's 6-0.
You can't go against me right now. But then
I
when I
don't bet
go
against
when I go
streaks.
0-6,
I,
it's
I'm playing the opposite side.
49ers and Seahawks. Seattle's a 7-point favorite in that game, which is a generous. That's a big spread when Sam Darnold has yet to prove himself in this situation.
There's where I was going with it. Talk to me about his psychological outlook this week.
I like Sam Darnold. I believe in Sam Darnold. He just hasn't. Honestly, he's only had 1 year to do it, in my opinion. He had his stretch of career with bad teams. And then last year he goes to a good team, plays great in the regular season. It's really his first opportunity in the playoffs. They lose. It feels like a weird dynamic because he's been in the league for a while. So you want to say experienced quarterback, oh, he did it again. But really, it wasn't like he did it again. It was his first chance to be in that situation. I think that's okay.
The
Um,
facade is the continuation of it happening over and over and over again, but the environments and the different events during that time, because he was in New York
mhm,
and because he wasn't in those situations, and everybody expects him to fail.
mhm,
And then he went to Minnesota, had a phenomenal year. In the last 2 weeks, people said it won't matter when he gets to the playoffs. He's just a loser.
mhm.
Now that's what he's going to go through until he wins. You're saying there is no streak. He's 0 for 1.
That's in my brain. That's how I'm choosing to view
How
it.
do you think he views it?
That's what you just can't know. I mean, because everyone again, there's this narrative that he chokes and that he can't handle the big games. I don't know if it's a fair narrative, but I have no idea. The thing we
You're
can't
rooting
know is
for him,
how it
though.
affects him.
Yeah, you're rooting for him,
I am
though.
I am rooting for him in San Francisco. I don't even dislike San Francisco. As a matter of fact,
No, I don't mean your bets. I mean just as a person,
yeah,
because you know
yeah.
inside your inner thoughts uh, when you're making big decisions. And in some cases, if you've put your hand on that burner and it's burnt you, like last year and
Mm-hmm.
his continuation, can you put that thought under subjection and move on with the positive thoughts of the season, or will he? I mean, some people want to take the last shot, and some people don't,
It's true, and
and you don't know until you know.
that's exactly right. You don't know, and this will be a good test for them because they should win this game. San Francisco's no slouch. What they've done with their year is incredible, honestly, with the amount of injuries they've had. They had another one,
With Kittle,
yeah, which is sad. But they've been playing really good football. Brock Purdy is not scared of the moment. He makes big plays.
hey, if Christian McCaffrey's healthy, they always got a shot. That's
Yeah,
all
and
I'm gonna tell you.
he had to. Well, Christian McCaffrey was about to get hurt, and then he had to siphon the health out of George Kittle to stay healthy. So they made a sacrifice to keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. Any chance you've seen? Probably not, because it's kind of an internet deep dive. Have
Okay,
you
yeah.
seen the player? It was a 49ers player, and I'm going to blank on who it was, that came out and said he was joking, but he said that there's a relation between all the injuries because everyone's been wondering, like,
Don't tell me
what's
it's the
wrong.
shoes.
No, no, no. He's been saying, or everyone's been saying, what's wrong in San Francisco? Every year, San Francisco goes through more injuries than any other NFL team, and it feels like it's not even remotely close. Apparently, their practice facility is right next to an electrical power plant and like substation, and the players have a theory that the electrical
That
substation
no
is
question,
affecting is
absolutely.
affecting the injuries.
Yeah,
So that's what they're
at a
saying.
different voltage and that electricity, it's putting off quite the airways of power in certain
Yep.
megahertzes, and it might be on the wrong one.
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
So, okay, I thought you were going to go with the San Francisco toxic waste. They were,
No.
or they were dumping something, but Santa Clara is really where they are,
Yeah.
and that's the nice area.
Well, apparently it's the substation. That's what's causing the
Okay,
injuries.
well, and
So
that that's good theories, just like directed energy weapons. That's what they're talking about. That's directing energy toward them, and that's it's kind of like your microwave. People used to say, "Don't stand in front of it when it's on." Kind of like when you go to the dentist and they say, "Okay, we're going to take you an X-ray." They get behind and put on their little vest.
true.
That's the same thing.
Here's the real question: is how many players have to believe it and joke about it for the team to consider moving the
Or for it
facility?
to affect them every time psychologically
True.
that when it happens again, that's what it is.
It's the way. It's the energy waves, the electric waves.
The
Um,
absolutely. Tune
but
into Night with Phee tonight at 9 p.m. and we've got some all kinds of crazy things going on in the world. This is fun time for Phee right here. This is what I used to enjoy doing all the time when I was his age, and so it's a blessing to me to be in front of Isaac, and he uh, he makes an effort to come down here every week and spend time with us, and I do appreciate you. We're getting through our first football season, going to move into our basketball season,
true.
but we've still got a Super Bowl. We've still got some AFC, NFC championships. But this is the end of college because I'm not talking about any dadgum Senior Bowl and Hula Bowl, and
No,
we'll go
no.
right into the NFL draft because I love it
It
and
is
the
sad.
evaluating the talent.
It's really sad to think we're getting to the end of football. It's a terrible, and I love basketball. Basketball holds me through, April or whatever, whenever the NBA playoffs is over, which really it's the March Madness tournament. NBA was like just enough to keep me from, being down in the dumps. But then football ending is just it just stinks. It's what I look forward to every weekend from end of August to February. So it's always a sad realization when it starts coming to the end. But it's also crazy to think that we've been going since really the beginning of football this year. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. But we're almost there, and I'm gonna cry a little bit, and then I'm gonna move on with my life and win money in March Madness. That's what I'm gonna do. But
Well, we'll be right here as long as we can be. I have told folks I do not think we'll continue to play college football and professional sports as a whole here in the future. So enjoy every single game. I hope we have one more year, and we'll be pushing that. Let's try to get through this Super Bowl. Isn't it a blessing we hadn't had any terror attacks or anything in any stadiums.
Oh yeah.
Because with this invisible bomb they have, there's no detectors on it. They can get by any surveillance whatsoever. The enhancement of that technology that's been around now for 5 or 6 years, it's very, very scary in huge concert areas, churches, and anywhere, airports, bus stations, and stadiums. So let's get through here. We got through Christmas unscathed. We got through New Year's unscathed.
Well,
So let's just continue going because
I'll
Sir
say
Isaac doesn't. He can't imagine life without. And I've never seen it. It happened before I was born, so I've never seen a year. I guess the 9/11 they stopped it for 2 weeks, and then COVID. Did they stop it for a week or 2 weeks? I mean,
I
that's
don't even
about the.
remember that.
Yeah.
That feels like it was 56 years ago. But I don't know anything about weapons or anything like that. But I will tell you that I don't. Not that I want to be naive to it, but I don't sit around and worry about it because I can't. I have no control over it.
You have a whole generation like that that's unaware because they choose not to be.
I'd say I'm a little different than some people because a lot of people is a lack. I'd say it leans more towards ignorance than something that's an intentional like decision. But I feel like if I wanted to look at it for 2 seconds, I could go toe to toe with most people and talk about it. The problem is it's honestly it's no different than my opinion with my own life stuff. Is like I know what I can control. I handle what I can control and I do it the best I can. Outside of what I control, I've been blessed with the ability to not like stress or worry about stuff because there's a few key things in my life that I need and want to focus on. Outside of that, I can't I can't do anything about what happens in the world, and at the end of the day we live in a broken world and bad things are going to happen, and but there's bad people, there's bad organizations, there's bad governments, there's bad all that stuff, but I can't do anything about that. What I can do is control Isaac and lay my head down every single day knowing that I did my best, and then when stuff happens you just deal with it, figure it out, and learn and grow and move on. So there better not be any attacks on sports games, because then it would affect what everyone does for enjoyment, and that would be no fun. But um, but
And I
yes,
mean, that is the mindset of certainly Americans that
yeah,
haven't seen it with all these other countries. I hope that we have another year of seeing it. But my point to you guys is enjoy the national championship, enjoy the wild card weekends. I watched more football last weekend than I have all year because I just know that it's coming to an end, and I just love football. I mean, I always have, and I always will. But if Sam Darnold does not get it done, and he goes over 2 in the playoffs with 2 different teams after his stint in New York, that'll be the narrative, whether it's fair or not. You don't win that many football games at that level and be drafted that high if you can't play. A lot of times you ruin more quarterbacks than you develop, and a lot of times that's because you're bad anyway. And you've got a bad manager, general manager, or a bad coach, or a bad owner is where it starts. You just see great ownership normally wins, and they do that by either staying out of the way or getting in front of the camera. Either way, but I I tell you one thing: if Sam Darnold doesn't win and 7 point favorite at home with a better running game, with San Francisco unhealthy, just McCaffrey just beats you through the air.
mm-hmm.
He beats you through the air. Just
No,
like just like your Allen boy at Buffalo, they have to prepare for him. They're
mm-hmm.
not used to preparing. That's why you're seeing a shift in the running quarterback, the athletic quarterback. Those defenses aren't prepared to defend 11. And when the quarterback gets into play, they have to, and that's where the shift's been. Now, when you look at Christian, he's just as good out of the backfield. Cook just as good out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Seattle core running back, they've got a committee there,
Yeah, to the point where it's almost comical because they don't even know who they like best at running
and it
back.
doesn't matter.
No, it hasn't mattered yet. It's weird. For fantasy, it was frustrating. I remember back in fantasy football times, however long ago that was, because
Last week,
you couldn't play either one of them, but you knew Seattle was going to run for a couple touchdowns a week. It just might be you don't know who it's going to be, but their defense is also amazing, which on the Sam Darnold side of things too makes it even worse of a look if he can't get it done. Their defense has been rock solid, and that's not saying their defense can't have a bad game, but when so far you've got one side of the ball reliable and locked up, you just got to go out and play a good football game. And if he can't do it, it's going to be hard to try to defend him. If he does it 2 years in a row, then you're right. The narrative is going to be probably not
he has some
manageable.
pressure, internal pressure this week. Your picks are over and under and the line before we give our picks.
I don't think I'm going to bet that game in like myself, but I'll just for picking sake, I'll go Seahawks minus the 7, and I'll go under 44.5. Two unders in the first two games.
All righty. Two unders in the first two games, and he's not going to play the game. This will not be one of his picks for the week, but he is favoring a Seattle -7 line.
I am.
Phee will go the opposite way. He'll go San Francisco plus the 7 and over. So there where we different. And so over the 40, is it 42 and a half?
44 and a half.
44 and a half. I'd take over 47 and a half. So
good news is one of us will win.
Good. Yes. Well,
we guaranteed that.
Yeah. And then we could give the juice to somebody else. So, all right. Our first two NFL games are out on the books. We got two more to go. What do you got, Sir Isaac, in game 3?
The Iowa of the NFL, Iowa football of the NFL, the Texans, going to New England. New England is a 3-point favorite at home, and every game the Texans win. Depending on how you want to watch football, it's either really ugly or really beautiful. Because if you like defense, then watching the Texans should be like your favorite thing on the planet because that defense is a problem. I mean, they are a problem. And I had that game against the Steelers pegged, unfortunately, for Will. The Steelers' offense was kind of questionable all year, and in my brain, I was like, I can't see them figuring it out against the Texans of all teams.
I picked the Texans.
My goodness gracious! I mean, they just fly. They just fly around to the ball like they're like a. I don't even know what to. They're like a swarm of bees. I mean, they're just all over the place.
They're fast.
Their
They're
defensive
athletic.
backs
They're
hit.
quick. They're big.
They like to hit that.
Got a great coach too for defense.
Yeah, for real, and you can tell they got great pass rush. That is it. Is it Danielle Hunter? Is that his name? I feel like that sounds wrong when I'm saying it, but I think that's his name. He's a defensive end for them. He's bounced around the league a little bit.
Coming to his
I'm
own.
not trying to sound. I like women. I'm not trying to sound like I'm crushing on a man, but that dude is one of the most insane looking he looks like he's like you draw him as like a comic book character, like his arms and he's just a scary looking dude. And Will Anderson from Alabama has been a stud.
I didn't expect we were going down that road, but I do appreciate the physique, evaluating the physique of Mr. Hunter.
I can't help it.
Okay, well, it must be that phenomenal.
It is.
Okay, so that's great in itself. Now, of course, Will Anderson, when they drafted him, you could see it at Alabama. Oh, yeah. He's a difference maker. He's a game maker. He's like your boy now at Green Bay that's hurt.
Yes.
That's the same player.
Yeah, slightly more towards the power side than Micah Parsons, but just, similar. They're both just, I mean, you can't forget about them because they're going to probably beat. If there's one guy blocking them, they're probably beating them. So it's a matter of either playing to the other side of the field, hitting them, hitting him with another guy before he gets to the tackle. I mean, you obviously there's a lot you can do to try to manage it, but if it's a one-on-one matchup and he's on the outside, there's a pretty good chance he's not losing. And their defense is insane. They're fun to watch.
You know, Lawrence Taylor
Oh yeah,
was a quality football player, and reminded Will Anderson reminds me of him.
yeah, I can see. Yeah,
I don't think Will Anderson is as good as him, but I do think he's in that neighborhood.
yeah. They. I feel like body wise, they're not too far off. You know, looking
Mm.
similar to, but I would want to play against them even more so than the Broncos and the Seahawks. The Texans defense is tough.
Just, I
But
mean, you can see by the lines, it's
oh
crazy
yeah,
with who's playing.
yeah. They're and they're all. I mean, C.J. Stroud, did he fumble? He either fumbled it 3 times and threw one pick. I think he had four. Put the ball on the ground 4 times and turned it over, and they still
One.
won handily. I
Okay.
mean, their defense scored more points than their offense. Um, but yeah, they're if I'm the Patriots and Drake May, you want to talk about a people have been talking about them having a easy schedule all year, and I don't think anyone doubts Drake May's ability. I think it's more so just that.
As long as they keep winning in the playoffs,
Hmm.
and with that season, he just gains momentum. I'm telling you what, you've been on his bandwagon since about game 4,
He's
and
he. I don't doubt him as a player. He is a very very good quarterback and young. I mean, he's in his second year. But you want to talk about a test? If you can come out and score and move the ball on this defense, I might go place a future on the Patriots if they come out and move the ball on the Texans and win this game. Because I don't care who they play. If you can move it on them, you're gonna move. You're gonna score on everybody, and then it's just a matter of your defense not just leaking points like crazy.
you said Denver and Houston had the best defenses throughout the year, and then of course, I'm on Baltimore and Pittsburgh defenses. That tells you how ancient dinosaur Phee is. When you don't pay attention. I thought Pittsburgh and Baltimore would have great defenses, and they never did consistently all year long. And I didn't think that the Houston Texans and Denver, but you have been on them. And so it's time, Guru, for you to go ahead and tell us what your pick is in this game between Houston
I'm going Patriots minus the 3,
at New
and
England.
in this game I'm going to take the over. Um, I think that the Patriots can still score, and I think that the Texans are going to not turn the ball over 4 times and have to try to hang with them. I don't think they can, but I think they score more than 41 points or 40 points. So I got Patriots minus 3, over 40.5. That's what I
Wow,
got.
there you go, right there. The New England Patriots advance in Sir Isaac the Guru's mind. -3, take New England at home and over the 40.5. I will go with the Houston Texans plus the 3 and over the 40.5.
So one of us is going to be a winner again.
Again, tune into the Phee Smee Network and see Fee's Sportsball with Sir Isaac the Guru, where everybody wins at least once.
most except for when we do the horrible thing of agreeing. That's when you know we're in trouble.
Yeah, well, if there's 4 of us on the panel, you can almost guarantee it's going to be an easy win or a look bad session.
Yep. Last game is Rams going to Chicago. Um, Rams are 3.5 point favorites in Chicago. And if you want to talk about, you might as well just flip a coin. And Chicago is the biggest wild card I've ever seen, I think, in my NFL
It's just
watching.
fun to watch.
I mean, it's a disaster in the best way possible. They will give up. Don't get me wrong. They're going to give up 20, 30 points. It's going to happen. They can't stop anybody, but they either have to get plays to go their way, or the other team's got to just screw it up for them.
Got a little mojo going.
I mean, it is a
Papa
it
Bear.
it's chaos. It's a disaster. If I was one of their fans, they're all going to have heart issues after
1985.
this. It's the opposite. It's the polar opposite of the Great Bears. It's the I mean
I
the
love Caleb Williams coming out of college. Said he would be a phenomenal pick. Wanted him to go number one overall over Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels had a better year
yeah.
last year's rookie year. They continued to question him. I'm a Caleb Williams fan, a Chicago Bears fan, and I can tell you that Chicago at this early time they're ahead of schedule and they'll find a defense, but they
Oh
don't
yeah.
have one this year.
As an organizational standpoint, they're in a great spot overall. I mean, they're ecstatic because you're
Yep.
right. They've got the coach. It looks like they've got the coach.
Yep.
He managed to give Caleb Williams confidence. You've even seen it throughout the year if you've watched the Bears. Even at the beginning of the year, he never played bad, but he was just you could tell it was a little bit of hesitant, like left over or left in him. But as the year went on, even the last like 4 games, it's just you'll see a lot of deep throws that he's throwing on a rope, 60 yards, and just threading it in tight windows. Beginning of the year was a lot more short yard stuff, screens, designed, short plays, and then just every single game, it's like his arm gets freed up, and now he looks great. They're going to score too. You ain't going to stop them from putting points on the board. It's just a matter of if they can stop you. And
Well, this is it for him. The second year, Jaden Daniels had it last year.
mm-hmm.
C.J. Stroud's have it 1 year. So you're seeing new quarterbacks that we've been high on now leading their teams to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everybody has to have one, because if you don't have good pitching in baseball or a quarterback in football, you pretty much don't win.
How about have you seen Ben Johnson saying F the Packers and him catching some flack for that?
That's a big rivalry.
Yeah, and he came out in his, interview, and he already has the reputation in his career for being a super intense guy. I think that's why him and Dan Campbell were so successful or did well together because
I
they
like
both
him.
have that. I do too. And I'm not going to say I support the saying F the Packers on the interview, but I don't hate it. I mean, if you're gonna,
Unfortunately, it's been around since the 60s, that language on the athletic field, and it has carried over into the cultures. And yes, it's not right, but it happens daily. They don't
yeah,
need to be making a big deal of that.
and but I think in a really weird way, he doubled down on it when they asked him about it after the fact. They were like expecting kind of an apology, and he didn't. Again, I'm not gonna say, hey, everyone go out there and do that. I think that's the right thing to do. But if you're gonna do it, and if you're that intense of a guy, I mean, what are you going to do? Take him to jail? Like, no, that's his
Nope.
personality. He stood by his personality. He didn't backtrack. He said what he said. He's doing it for the fans. Obviously, you really think he goes home and hates the Packers? No,
No.
but he's doing it because he's getting the city pumped. They beat him in the playoffs. I mean, he doubled down on it, and in a weird way, like I said, I respect it, and I'm almost happy he didn't take it back
Well,
because
your president just 2 days ago at a Ford plant, he they had a heckler yelling at him about some transgender or something, and he said the "fu" to him, and then flipped the heckler off. So that is part from the top down, from the commander in chief down. I don't expect anybody has a competitive nature in a high octane, a lot of testosterone with those alpha males at the highest level. You just take that as part of the show.
yeah, it is. He's an intense guy. I'm glad they beat the Packers. The Packers should be feeling real bad about that game because when you want to talk about they had it in control, I mean that's an understatement. They should not. I mean they
Greatest
absolutely.
comeback in NFL playoff history.
Patriots Falcons Super Bowl
That's okay,
was
and there was a 31-3 back when I was. It's probably 93 or 92, maybe. I mean, there's been some like 30 Houston and But the biggest one, you're right, is
It's
in the
up,
Super Bowl.
but it's up. That one's up there,
You'd have to be.
and it wasn't even like
Maybe
I,
fourth quarter comeback.
that's the because I was gonna say third quarter wasn't even like it's not like they came out of halftime and sometimes you'll be like, oh, what coach say to him at halftime? They came out look like a different team. No, he
Yeah.
had a pick in the third quarter and it still was looking rough. And then it's like it took a while and then out of nowhere it flipped. It wasn't like a halftime switch. It was like a just about fourth quarter switch. Kind of like when Denver came back earlier this year. I forget what they were down to the Giants. It was like a
I remember that game.
that was an
I only saw the
insane
last
game.
part of it.
But yeah, crazy comeback. But in this game, I think the Rams. I think
Matthew
Mc,
Stafford, if he's healthy, lots of weapons.
the Rams need to be hoping for a cold. They need to be hoping for weather. I mean the Bears. Yeah, did I say the Bears?
You said
The
the Rams.
the Bears need
Yeah.
to be hoping for weather because if it's a nice day and you let LA come over, I think McVay is a genius in the playoffs. He knows how to change up stuff without changing everything. He throws wrinkles in. Not that they need to throw wrinkles in to get past the
Good to have
Bears
a quarterback
defense.
with that kind of experience.
Yeah, he's still throwing the ball as good as he's been. His fingers hurt. Don't think it's that big a deal, considering all you have to do is throw it in the vicinity of Puka Nakua and it's going to get caught. But I think the Rams also have a very good defense who has been underperforming a little.
Mm-hmm.
I think they come to Chicago, and I think finally, no, it'll be heartbreak for a day or two for Chicago, but in the grand scheme of things, great year, great development for their quarterback, great looking moving forward. But I think the Rams right now are more ready. I think they come in there, and I think they cover 3.5. Um, I think it's a frustrating loss for the Bears, and I think in a week when they're sitting on their beach chairs in Cabo, they can look back on it and say, "Hey, great year. We're just going to get better." But this year, I think the Rams get it done, and I think it's another over game because the Bears are the Cowboys of earlier in the year. You bet the over in Bears games. You do it every game because they can't stop anyone and they'll score. So I got Rams minus 3.5 over 48.5. And that leaves us with
Sir Isaac the Guru takes the Rams going into Chicago and Soldier Field on a coldy, windy January day. Takes the Rams, the old sunshine West Coast Rams, minus the 3.5 over the 48.5. Phee, on the other hand, will take the home dog, Soldier Field, plus the 3.5. That's what I like, the hook. Plus 3.5. And I'll also take over, as that's just as easy as Dallas and Detroit.
this was a fun. I don't think it'll affect how you should view the game, but Andrew Whitworth the other day was saying they asked him about going to Chicago and how the Rams will handle that. He said of all the teams in the NFL, the Rams and the Raiders, if they were good, can handle the away pressure better than anyone else because he said a lot of the times the complications of the away games is if the crowd gets loud, you got to go to silent count, and a lot of teams struggle with that when they're away. They don't practice it all the time. He said the Rams, he said it. People say it as a joke, but they don't like even in LA. A lot of their games are neutral. And he said McVay has them run silent count like most of the year, regardless of whether they're home or away, because their stadium isn't even reliable as a home stadium.
Repetition.
And so I think from that aspect of being able to deal with, you're talking about what 4 or 5 plays a game. Sometimes there'll be a false start, things like that, where the crowd noise can really make a difference. So it's not that big a deal, but I don't think the Rams are going to struggle with that. I thought that was just an interesting little tidbit by him. I would have never thought about that. Um,
Brilliant.
but it was a good point and true. But
Go Caleb Williams. You continue the last second, fourth quarter comebacks. I think they've had 6 this year or 7.
shoot, I don't know, but it's been a lot.
I think they have. Well, you've got it. You've heard it right here, folks, on the Phee Smee Network with Phee Sportsball with Sir Isaac the Guru. Sir Isaac the Guru, what else you got?
Let's talk about the last thing we're going to talk about with the NFL is We talked about it last week. Mike Tomlin um, stepped down, whatever you want to call it, as the coach, which we kind of both said that if they parted ways, it was going to be handled that way, which they should have.
Absolutely.
But we were right about if I think they probably should have done it even if they won that game, but they lost. He steps down. Harbaugh steps down. Now he's going to the Giants, which is exciting, especially with
Great with Dart and Neighbors.
and they got injuries right now that kind of I feel like people had a short glimpse of the fun Giants, and then we kind of forgot about them because all their
Well,
players
we
were
need to
hurt.
have the Giants back.
I agree.
I just like the Giants. Their history, and they've always played good quality football. But you can't have everybody back.
No.
Guru, you see somebody every time somebody wins, somebody loses.
Yep.
That's what I can't explain to Mark. You got to pick a side. He doesn't want to pick sides. He just wants the Jesus side. I say, well, you're gonna have to pick some sides because you're gonna go through it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. That's a good point. There can't be everyone can't turn it around because then it wouldn't be. That's just impossible. But it's fun that he's going to the Giants, and then Tomlin. I wish he didn't say he wanted to sit out. I think if you're the Steelers, you gotta trade him because apparently the only scenario that they still have his rights. I think they can trade him. I feel like you if I feel like you have to, but in the most respectful way possible. Because he's a great coach and someone will give up something for him. And there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that need a Mike Tomlin, like a ton of them. The Steelers just aren't. The Steelers have had him, and now they need something else. That doesn't mean it's a Mike Tomlin problem. That doesn't mean it's a Steelers problem. They just need to split, go their separate ways. But there's a lot of teams that would love Mike Tomlin that could use him because there's teams out there that would just
Over
kill.
20 of them, I'd say.
Yeah, that would kill for consistency when the Steelers are
Absolutely.
complaining about consistency. Um, but
You don't see. I don't think a man steps away from that situation and then goes and coaches the next year. I think he goes straight into TV for a year and sees if he likes the TV and misses the coaching and determines then because he's going to take a year off.
well, that's what he wants. But I think if I understand correctly, I think the Steelers can trade him.
Yeah, but what if he gets another contract? He takes another job. Then if they, in other words, what you're saying is they can trade his rights, even though that nobody would know if he'd ever coach again.
I'm not sure. I can't speak on it a ton because I didn't read enough about it. But the way I at least heard it was that he didn't want to coach another next season.
Well,
But
that would make
they
sense to
have
me.
the and me too. But they have the ability to trade him. I think like this year.
Okay.
So I don't know how that plays out.
I bet they don't trade him unless there's any suitors. And who wants to know if there's any suitors? There might be some inside information, an inside track. If somebody steps up and trades for him, which means they have the rights to him,
Hmm.
then that's who he'll coach for if he decides to coach again,
Yeah,
or until those rights are up or they're bought out, and then he'll do what he wants to do. It tends to work out when it comes to law. They just
yeah.
keep changing it and renegotiating and moving on. But fantastic year for the NFL. We're going to continue on with these playoffs. We'll have the NFC and the AFC championships next weekend after this weekend, and then we'll have the Super Bowl. But we're
Hmm.
going to transition into some college basketball right now. Guru, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it now, but catch me up because when you start saying, I thought when we were talking about Indiana, and how
Hmm.
dominant you think they are, and how I told you all the sharps will be betting on Indiana, I thought of UConn basketball.
Hmm.
Everybody the last couple of years have been trying to find a way and outsmart themselves when it comes to betting against UConn basketball,
Hmm.
even though they kept winning by 20 and 30.
They're yeah. And this year, if you've been paying attention to games this year, they've really been trying to get people to bet for UConn. Vegas has been trying to get people to bet on UConn because the lines have been low, and they've been covering a lot of them. They're still really good. There was a weird deal with them this last week or 2 weeks ago about think it was a fake report. I never got to the bottom of it, but the reason I'm assuming it's fake is because I never heard anything come of it. But I think there was some report that came out about him saying some super offensive stuff to a ref in a game, like that would have been a suspension worthy statement. But then like I didn't hear anything else, so I'm assuming that was a
Fake
not
report.
true thing. But they're good again. They're not as dominant as they've been the last couple years. The problem child right now in college basketball, even though they lost the other day, is Michigan. They are a absolute wagon.
Powerhouse, huh?
I mean, yeah,
Have taken over Purdue in the Big Ten as the dominant team this
they have
year.
looked. They had a random loss. I'm gonna pull up their
Well,
scores.
Michigan, when Fee played, it was the last year of the before they implemented the 3 point line. Shorts were as high as you could be, like mini skirts. Your socks were pulled up to your knees. It wasn't 5 years after I graduated that Michigan and the Fab Five, uh, they redefined basketball uniforms, and they had shorts that went past their knees and ankle socks. So Michigan has been around for quite some time with Chris Webber and Juwan Howard. Then they went down for a while, and now they're right back. Steve Fisher, I believe, was their coach during a really good run for a long time.
Do you know their coach now?
Well, I knew they hired a Michigan boy. Is it Howard?
It was Dusty May, who
Okay.
was the coach at FAU when they had the few years in a row. I think they went to the Final
Always
Four
had
one
good
year.
guards at FAU.
But he's their coach now, and they have. I'll go back to. They played a lot of good teams in the non-conference, so I'm going all the way back to read through some of these. But
Yeah, get to the mic.
um, um, okay, so they went crazy in the transfer portal.
Thank you, Jerry. I
They're
appreciate you tuning in. And I'm looking at the chat because I'm getting yelled at because you tuned in last night, and I did not even look up that way. So it's easier when I've got two. So I'll keep looking. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Isaac.
No, you're fine. They went crazy in the transfer portal. Got a couple guys that Arkansas was trying to get that were like the couple of the top rated transfers, but they've all played great. They had good recruiting too. But they this year TCU or sorry, San Diego State's a good basketball program every year. They're not as good this year, but pretty good. They beat them 94-54. They played Auburn, who is pretty solid, beat them 102-72. Gonzaga has been, I think they have one loss, I'm pretty
Powerhouse
sure,
out
really
west
good.
all year.
Beat them 101-61.
Woo!
Rutgers 101-60. Villanova 89-61. USC won by 30. Wisconsin just that's the game they lost the other night. Wisconsin actually beat them, who I think they're unranked, but they're decent team.
Well, they always are.
They beat them randomly 91-88, and then Michigan bounced back with a 10-point win. But they've been scary looking. They're huge,
They got
great
more than one, don't they?
defense.
Huh? Who's their
Yeah,
superstar? They got three of them.
the one that everyone's talking about was that is he's a transfer. His name's Yaxel Lindenberg, I think is his
Okay,
name. But
that's why I asked him.
he's like a power forward. Can kind of do everything. Really good scorer. But their defense has been insane. Like on all the metrics, they're like number one defensive rated team. And they're in the top three, I think, in offense. But they've been a problem. You've got your normal teams that are really good. UConn's good. Villanova's back to being competitive. Gonzaga's going to win. They're going to have two or three losses on the year, and then they're going to be a one
Always do.
seed. Duke is a problem because of that freshman big man. They're obviously always good anyways, but he's a difference maker. Arkansas has started to. We had one really bad loss against Auburn the other night. It was our first like true stinker of the year, which they happen. Um, but then we bounced back last night with like a 30 something point win over South Carolina. South Carolina's not good, but it's SEC game. Um, so we're figuring it out, getting better. We'll be in the big picture at the end of the year. We have a chance to win the league. I think a decent chance because I don't think the rest of the SEC is as strong as it was last year. But we have statistically right now the best freshman point guard in the nation. He's overperformed from even what optimistic people were thinking he was going to be. He's a stud. He's shooting like 40 something percent from three. He's averaging like 7 or 8 assists a game. Assist turnover ratio is super low. I mean, he's a stud.
My son is he has worked out several professional athletes for before the draft and pre-draft workouts, and he had told me all year long, "You need to watch this boy. He's that good." And he said he looks like a defensive safety,
He
physique wise
does.
for an 18-year-old boy. And I said, well, when I looked at him, I said, well, you won't have him next year.
No, no.
So he's the real deal.
He is. And it's, I
And
think,
so is Arkansas's got athletes to beat any of those teams. It's just can they consistently come to the floor with that team chemistry? They
yep.
only play 8. They don't go deep into their bench, and
No.
so they're not going to have to worry about building that chemistry with 8. And they've got 1 through 8 are quality athletes.
Yeah, they are. What's going to kill us at the end of the year is going to be, if something kills us, hopefully it doesn't, is going to be interior, just physicality. We've got athletes. We block a lot of shots, deflect a lot of balls, but if it comes down to a one-on-one scenario on the block and someone has a big, strong, big guy, we're we can't do much to stop them. We just don't have the same. We can't match the physicality that they team. That's okay. You can win like that. The Warriors had probably the best basketball team in the history of the NBA without size, and I know they had a Steph Curry, but you can do it. You just have to be better at what you're good at than the other team is with the size. And I think we can get there. It is just a little scary though. You play a Duke and Cam Boozer is going to have 28 and 14 against you, and it's just going to happen. You just
Well,
have
I
to
think
find a
it's
way to win.
more of length. We're long and they're thick.
Yeah.
If you run up against a big boy that's thick inside that can move you, then you'll get them into foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's all. That's what it's all about. Is foul trouble when it comes to those quality athletes. Tell me, number one, about North Carolina and why I don't hear about them like I used to. How good is Houston this year as a rundown? And the top 4 teams in the SEC. I just said last night to my son, I would say Arkansas and Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida. And he said, "Well, A&M
Mm-hmm.
is a good football team. Basketball team. Texas is a good basketball team. So, where do you stack up? Because I know Georgia's always got athletes. I know Mississippi State can beat you at home. How good is Ole Miss? Just talk to me about the SEC.
So we're gonna have way less tournament teams this year. They do as a conference, we took a big step back. Let me answer all your first 2 questions. Were Houston super good again? Same brand of basketball. Super mean, rough, great defense. They have a couple more scores this year, but they're a they might get offended by me saying this if they were to hear this, but they're a copy and paste of his teams. I mean, he's a great coach. He gets all
He
of his
is.
teams to play hard. They're super good again. North Carolina's okay. They it feels like the last few years they've struggled to put it together. They've got the people there. They have one of the best freshmen in basketball too. Um, but
I've heard that.
and they're talented. They'll win games and they'll probably make the tournament. They haven't just put it together and look like a great team this year. But they've got the pieces there in the SEC right now. If you can't look at the rankings right now because they're wonky.
I
A
don't
and
even know what
M,
the rankings are. I just go
it's
by what I saw last year. The
Missouri.
athletes.
These teams are all tied for first. Missouri, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, A&M, Florida. Then you've got Bama, Kentucky, Tennessee with 2 losses.
Okay. Well, I
Um,
mean, 2-2 and 3-2. I'm not worrying about the standings right now.
no,
There's no
but
separation.
it
But as you're quality, if you watch the football, I mean the basketball games,
yeah,
right?
yes.
Okay,
If
I haven't watched but two basketball games all year. So tell me where we are.
I'm going to tell you that I think it'll shake out being Vanderbilt right now. They keep winning and looking good. I can't figure out if they're legit or not. I think they'll be in the top four of our conference this year. I think we'll be in the top four. I think it'll be
So Arkansas and Vanderbilt are two of the four.
yes. I
Okay.
think you'll have Alabama up there, and then you're gonna pick between Florida and Tennessee. In my opinion, I think I'm gonna give. I think I'm gonna go Tennessee, and then Florida being just off. So I'm gonna go Arkansas in no order: Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Alabama up at the top. But once you get past a couple of the teams, so Mississippi State, they have one guard who carries them in every game, and if he doesn't have a great night, they lose. Um, Ole Miss has been kind of a disaster. Their coach, just like I think he's struggling. This is just my opinion. Haven't heard from anyone else. I think they've gotten
All
to the
this is his opinion. It's for
well.
information and entertainment purposes only.
I take other people's ideas. This one I think is my I. This is independent. I'm just making this judgment. It feels like Chris Beard has been like he's a pretty hard nose, make you play hard by being your stereotypical yell at you coach.
Bobby Knight type.
I think he's struggling with the paying players coming in with egos and expectations because in our game, which was a close-ish game, he subbed out all of his starters at one time in a game that was winnable for them. Pulled every single starter, sat them on the bench because he thought they weren't giving enough effort. Sometimes that's not the worst thing in the world, but when you're in this day and age right now, that ain't gonna work because those kids
That's a cultural shift.
they ain't gonna
He
play.
is no longer all. They're not all in with him being the boss. It's conditional loyalty
Yeah, and they're gonna cash their check
because they can
and
go someplace else the
e-
next year. They're not set in stone that this is where we're going to be and we got to get along.
exactly. So Ole Miss is not as good as people thought they were gonna be. Georgia's decent. Oklahoma's decent.
LSU as bad as people always say they are in basketball.
They're scrappy, but yeah, they're not great
I just
again.
love those colors, so
They are.
I like when they play well.
South Carolina's bad. Auburn's 1-3 right now, but Auburn is a team that, and
That
I'm
beat
not
us,
just
huh?
saying this from recency bias. They're just a team that you don't probably want to play. I don't think they've probably got a chance to win a national championship, but they are a competitive team. Of course, they had their coaching change
They're
where
going to
they've
get
got
better as the year goes on.
yes,
That was
yes.
shocking.
Texas isn't very good. Kentucky is interesting, would be the understatement of the century.
Here we go. Guru's a big Arkansas Razorback
No, for
fan.
real, for
So
real.
Calipari comes to
I'm serious.
Arkansas, leaves Kentucky. They go to BYU and pick a boy named Pope
Yep.
that played at Kentucky. And now it's been an Arkansas. Who's the better? Was it the Arkansas hire, the Kentucky hire? We know what he's going to say. But what is Kentucky doing this year, Guru?
It's just they're very weird. So they've been hurt. They had a guy that we were actually supposed to land last year as a freshman, Jaden Quintance, ended up going to Arizona State. Had a pretty good year there. He was actually a year younger because he had reclassified. He transfers to Kentucky. He's been hurt until one game ago. They have another guard that was hurt. That was a big time pickup. They just got both of them back, but they've lost a game since then. But they've had a couple really ugly losses to good and not very good teams to where they just like didn't look good. But it's one of those.
Inconsistency?
Yeah,
He's
it
scared to say they're no good.
no, I don't because I don't believe it. I think if I'm one of their fans, I'm gonna tell myself right now that you had injuries, they're just coming back, and so basically your starting point of learning to play together started 2 games ago. So I'm gonna tell myself that string together a few wins, bounce around in the middle ground, figure it out as a team, make the tournament, and then you would hope that by that point you're a good basketball team. And they're not bad, but they just they're just weird. They got talent all over the place. If they can't figure it out and they finish the season looking like really disappointing, I'm really not trying to be dramatic or be funny. If I was one of their fans, I would be I'd there'd be my hand hovering over the alarm button a little bit
He'd be a little nervy,
because they have
little
hyped
nervy, like
Mark
never
Pope
nervous
up.
Purvis.
They've hyped him up as a coach so much.
Mark is his first name. Yeah.
Yes, and they love him and they're all about it and he's been good at recruiting. But if you have 2 years in a row of, especially this year, where you go get major transfer portal ads, get some freshmen, if you look bad the whole year, it in a not as good SEC, it gets a little, it's a little
Well, and now if they placing fifth and sixth, he won't last long
no.
whatsoever. So you really you don't think that Texas or Texas A&M, either one, you're not impressed with Missouri. You are impressed with Vanderbilt, Alabama, Tennessee, and Arkansas in the SEC. Who is the best team in the country right now, in your opinion? Is it Michigan again in the Big Ten?
Right now, I think it is Michigan.
The SEC is taking a step back in on all your major sports with the Big Ten. We've owned them for quite some time. Now it looks like it could be slanting back the other way if Michigan is what you say.
I think they are. It won't. I can't imagine them staying that dominant, but I think they're the best team in the country right now. Nebraska is undefeated, but but I challenge anyone to watch a Nebraska game.
Nebraska's women's volleyball could be undefeated, and I would agree. But
Their basketball team currently has the longest win streak in basketball, and it continues to last year. It's like 20 something games I think now. They
the
haven't lost.
Cornhuskers of Nebraska.
They've won good games. They haven't lost. But I just, I need I just need you to watch them play and just tell me it's the weirdest
I would figure they'd
experience.
look just like Wisconsin.
Yes, yeah. I don't really know how they're undefeated, but they are, and like I said, they beat good teams. But
Well, tell me about Indiana. They've been down for so long. And Louisville. Is Indiana and Louisville, are they coming back decent?
Indiana's okay. I think they're ranked. I don't remember what they're ranked, but they're up there. They'll be a tournament team. Louisville is Alabama in the ACC. They could beat any team on any given night if they make threes, and if they miss threes, they could lose to any team on any given night. They're have the same philosophy and the same like talent at the positions as Bama. They feel like you literally feel like you're watching the same team. Doesn't help they're both red, but literally identical. So Louisville is a team that can get it. They will get into the tournament. They'll probably win a couple games, but they'll be a very popular upset pick at that point because they're either on or they're not. And
If they catch fire, they can go six
if they
games.
catch fire, you're not beating them. Same as Bama. If Bama's hitting their shots, you just go shake their hand and you say congrats, you shot 50% from three on 35 attempts tonight. I mean, it's it. I'm glad we don't play that way, but when you play against one of those teams and they hit their shots, it's very discouraging.
Absolutely.
But they're very one dimensional, and that to me is not as scary as a team that's well rounded. Because if you can take away their one dimensional thing, they're really not that. They're not scary. But they're the same team. Indiana is they're a more well rounded, but just a little bit step down from the best teams in the country right now. Very good.
How about Texas Tech? And then we'll go out to the West Coast, USC and UCLA, Arizona. And then we'll go finish up with Rick Pitino and St. John's.
Texas Tech is really solid. Super similar to last year. They've got that big man who's crazy talented, especially talented if you give him a superstar whistle like they did against us. But they'll be up there. at the end of the year. They can kind of do a little bit of everything. I think they if you can take away if you can eliminate the paint with Texas Tech, I think they're the opposite of a Bama. Uh, Bama, if you can take away perimeter, you win. Texas Tech, you take away Jacob Toppin and you win. Um, Arizona's a problem. Arizona has two great freshmen, and one of them is a grown man. Koa Pete is his name. They're super good. I don't. They may be number like 2 in the country right now.
I always like the Wildcats, in Arizona,
They're really,
when it
really
comes to
good.
basketball.
Really, really good. Arizona State is not great at the moment, but they're okay.
They never are.
Iowa State really good, although Kansas thumped them the other night. Iowa State was undefeated, and Kansas was actually on a little bit of a downfall. They have a freshman who I said Darius Akov was the best point guard. I lied. He's the second best point guard because
Freshman?
yeah, he's in my opinion he's the number one pick, and I don't think it's close. If I watch, he's been hurt.
Who?
His name is Darren Peterson.
Okay.
If I watch all these really good freshmen play, and it's a crazy class, there's good freshmen stinking everywhere this year.
Goes in cycles.
Darius Akov might be and this is in no way a negative to him. He might be a borderline lottery pick, like, and as good as he's been.
Okay.
Any other year,
That's
he's
fair.
a top 6 pick, but there's so many like crazy athletes this year, and I feel like the way the NBA's been going, they're gonna take a 6'9" guy who's not as proven over a 6'3"
Depends on the
point
draft
guard.
order and selection.
True,
But
depends on the
I
team.
do think, let me, before you said Arizona, the only reason I asked you about USC, I really want to know about UCLA and Arizona and Texas Tech, and then finish with St. John's. But USC, because the Arkansas basketball
Mhm.
coach went out, how are they? Are they progressing?
They're pretty good.
They're getting in the top 25 or any better?
They're gonna bounce around that the whole year probably. They're pretty good, and not great, but he's done well there.
Okay.
Last year they obviously were a little disappointing, but he had a year to kind of get more guys
Sure.
in. And
What about UCLA? Are they just
UCLA
really good or kind of
no, and I think they're probably gonna fire their coach.
Okay.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, is the same coach that took them. It was like, was it 3 years ago? They went from a play-in spot to like the Final Four or something. Anyway,
It was a story.
yes, I
I
think
remember I was real ill.
he's been. They are doing. They're ranked high every year because their name's UCLA,
Yes,
and
that's why I
then
was asking.
and he's had a couple disappointing years in a row because I love betting against UCLA.
Good. Okay.
Vegas gives them super favorable lines, and
Like they
I'm
do
just
Dallas,
all over. Yes,
New England,
yes,
Duke.
yes. But
Just keep going.
yeah, they're not that good. USC, I don't think it's going to be a factor. Arizona will be. And then
How about Michigan State, and then finish it with St.
Michigan
John's?
State will be a factor. St. John's has been very disappointing. They've kind of dropped off. Started off ranked pretty high this year. They've taken some. They got to play. Obviously, those teams a lot of times schedule big games, non-conference.
Absolutely.
They did, and they lost like all of them. They'll get into conference play and probably work their way back into being ranked, and they'll make the tournament, but not St. John's of last year.
Not the same quality athletes?
Nope.
Okay.
No,
That's
not
what I wanted to know.
different than last year. But yeah, Arizona, St. John's not worried about USC, not worried about UCLA, definitely not.
Texas
Gonzaga
Tech.
will be up there. Texas Tech will be up there. Kansas, if their freshman stays healthy, they'll be up there. That kid, I'm telling you right now, you could put him in any NBA jersey
Right now.
Right now, he's a grown man. I think he's 24, and they call him 18.
I've never seen him play, but I've heard some great things about him,
He just
Joe.
looks like, you would know. If you watch him play one time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But, like, it's when you're a superstar, some people look casual and some people look effortless. And if you don't know the difference, you struggle to figure out which is which.
Coaches struggle.
Yes, he is effortless, and he literally looks like he doesn't have to try to think or try hard to do anything, and he just does whatever he wants. Like If he wants to get to a spot, he gets there. If he wants to make a thread a pass, he makes it. It's like he doesn't. He just looks. He looks like if you dropped an NBA player into college basketball and you said like play a season. And I don't know what his stats will pan out to be at the end of the year, but I'm just telling you, if you watch them play a game, and he's not perfect, he'll probably have bad games, but if you watch Kansas and you watch him play, he just looks like different. He's a step above everyone right now. I think in like readiness, may not be better than any other guys when he gets to the league, but right now he's there. He's ready. He's really really good, and he's big, bigger than Acuff. I think he's like 6'6".
Oh yeah,
But
that's salty. Well, I can't wait to see him play. Let me ask you about the 7'8" or 7'9" freshman from Florida. I haven't heard anything about him. Did he disappear? Is he hurt or what?
He's I don't even know what class he is now. No, he's there.
Have you seen him ever play on TV?
He played last week or the week before. They played a nobody. It was right before conference play, so probably a week or two ago. They played a nobody, and he got a few minutes at the end and got his first career dunk.
At 7'9",
and it was a. This is how you know. This is how you know he's not like a
the Wemby.
Yes, because when he got his first career dunk, it was like an ESPN headline. It was like so and so first career dunk, and I'm like, okay, if it's your second year with a team and you're 7'9" and it's your first career dunk, you can play. It's cool that he's that tall. I mean, it's cool.
It's not cool. It's dadgum from a physical standpoint. That's a rough on a dadgum heart. And from Sam Bowie to Ralph Sampson to anybody else that's 7'2" and more, you just have stress fractures. You have all kinds of feet problems. And I was talking to my son about it and told him, I said, his Wemby's biggest problem is going to be staying healthy at that size. And he said he's got the physical trainer and the program that they've shown of what the difference is for him not to have those stress fractures, not to have those same type of problems with his feet and bone spurs and everything else. Normally, you 7'3", 330 pounds, your feet and your from your knee down is rough.
That's what makes him like Wemby, like everyone. I call him an alien. That's what makes him that way, is because it is when you're that tall, it takes over like the sports world because you just don't see it a lot. There's been guys that are 7'6". There's been Yao Ming. There's been Manute Bol. Like they've existed, and people have seen them. Not very many, but no matter how exciting you think it is, or no matter how cool you think it is to watch a guy that tall, when you watch him move and you watch him play, at the end of the day, you can tell, that their size and everything impacts their ability to move. Wemby is the first person I've ever seen that's that tall, and his fluid would be selling him short. Yeah. I mean, he has the coordination and the fluidity of a 6'5" person.
He looks like the praying mantis.
Yes, and I hope
he doesn't get hurt. He's just fluid. But what you're telling me is, see, from a coaching standpoint, here's what you look at. They believe with repetition, they're going to take a 7'9" boy that couldn't chew gum and walk down the court, and they're going to take him and rep him thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times, where he can do a drop step right, a drop step left, a right hook, a left hook, make a free throw, and learn how to get his hands up on defense and his feet wide. They're going to continue to rep him, and I bet you if he got another 2 years of development, he'll be drafted in the NBA because he is 7'9". That's how scary it is, folks. They'd look at it, they'd say, go back to junior high. Dude can throw it 60 yards in junior high. Okay, but can he read a defense? Mm-hmm. Does he know how to, lead a team? Can he get us out of a bad play?
There's still one of those in the NFL right now.
Okay.
Joe Milton, but he's the only one.
Oh, Joe from Alabama.
And then Tennessee. But
was he Joe Milton from Tennessee? I like Joe Milton. Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, if you've ever seen him throw a football, you can't not like him.
He's like a cannon.
Yeah, it's incredible. But he is literally going to stay on NFL rosters because every single person that has eyes watches him throw one deep ball, and they all go, "Holy cow!" But he can't. He has obviously not been able to do the other things that are important.
Read the defense. What
But
between
you're
the ears?
right with the height. It's people get a chance. Although I do think there's a line, and if this kid, if he's just legitimately like,
If he's willing to work, go. If he's willing to work, go
but
at 7'9".
he may not be a he may not possess the ability to be coordinated enough to even get a chance.
Okay.
And I
Well,
think that that's the direction that I think that's what it feels like. That's where we're going. I think it's like a hey, they have a guy who, when you watch TV, you say, "Oh, who is that on the bench?" And I think that's his. I think
all
that's
right.
his peak.
Folks, thank you guys for tuning in to the old Phee Sports Ball with Sir Isaac the Guru. Sir Isaac the Guru takes for the national championship in college football, Indiana minus the 8.5, and I do agree with him. So enjoy that national championship game. In the pros, he is loving the Rams and the Bills, the Seahawks, and Guru, the last one, the
Rams, Bills, Seahawks, Patriots.
Patriots, and I took the opposite of the Patriots.
Yes.
So I do like the Bills, which is surprising. We're probably both going to lose that game, but we're just going to continue because we like Mr. Allen and we're pulling for him to go to the Super Bowl. I have the 49ers as Guru has the Seahawks. So there you go, folks. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great and blessed day today and have a great time watching football. Remember, no matter what you're doing, you're missing something. So let's make what we're doing worth what we're missing.
Last thing I have to say, first time I've ever interrupted your outro. First time ever. I do have to squeeze this in. If you want a guaranteed college basketball win on the night, never given these out before, but I'm giving you
He's
one.
starting to do it.
Giving you one, just one tonight. Parlay, you're going to all think I'm crazy. Parlay UCSD, California, San Diego, money line with Charleston money line. UCSD plays Cal State and Northridge. That's the games we're betting on here, folks. And you
1-800-problem gambler.
UCSD and Charleston money line. Parlay them together. Charleston's a 2.5-point dog. UCSD is like minus 7.5, but you should get even money putting them together, and they will win. So go ahead and get yourself pay for your dinner tomorrow, and just
Give that
me
again
later.
because they've never heard of those teams. Give it slow and what the line
Okay.
is.
UCSD. It's a late game. You got time. California. They're playing Cal State and Northridge. UCSD is like minus 7.5, I think, but just parlay their money line with Charleston money line. Charleston's a 2.5-point underdog, but to Towson, but they'll win. And
All right, Richmond, Towson,
Charleston,
Charleston,
and Towson,
Towson,
and UCSD and Cal State Northridge.
All right, folks. That's the way to finish up a show right there. Take that parlay on the money line. If you can even figure out if they play basketball.
And
in
no
those
one
places.
call 1-800-GAMBLER on me. I'm fine.
He's fine, folks. Yeah, he'll put his $5 on it and have a good day. Anyway, you guys enjoy yourself and have a blessed day and a great weekend.
Adios.